Gurmagat Ceann Comhairle.
Deputy McDonald, please, without interruption.
Parents of secondary school students are now very, very concerned and worried following the ASTI's rejection of the Haddington Road Agreement and the very real possibility of industrial action commencing on October the 2nd. Now, Taoiseach, I don't know about you, but I don't believe for a second that any teacher wants to strike or to engage in industrial action. I believe that they want to teach and to deliver the best education to their students. We all know that education is being damaged by your government's austerity approach, with the loss of classroom teachers, the withdrawal of guidance services, and tying up of teachers' time and energy with extra administrative work. These are the actions that have caused damage to our children's education, not the actions of teachers. But rather than address these concerns and the concerns of parents, Minister Quinn, true to, it has to be said, the form of your government, charges in like a schoolyard bully and has escalated the situation by threatening compulsory redundancies. Now let's remind ourselves that this is the same minister who presides yet again over chaos within Susie, the minister who broke basic promises on student fees, and the minister who is currently considering increasing primary school class sizes. So, Taoiseach, will the government address the concerns of parents? Will you, Taoiseach, intervene to ensure that this crisis is resolved?
Sorry, would you please allow the Deputy to put her question, please?
Will you, Taoiseach, intervene to ensure that there is no industrial action on October the 2nd? And will you ask your colleague, Minister Quinn, to desist from his threats and to suggest to him that it might be better to adopt a more reasonable and constructive approach?
Thank you. Taoiseach.
I don't accept your assertions at all. You're one of the people who wished that the negotiations in respect of Haddington Road would fail. You denounced them. You denounced them before the ballot was ever held, and you showed scant regard either for teachers or their parents or pupils with your comments at the time. Now, the situation, Deputy McDonald, there are 17,000 members in the ASTI, and they have balloted, and they have made their view known on Haddington Road Agreement. There are 300,000 public servants who have accepted this, in the knowledge that this country was left in an unholy mess, unprecedented economically,
Would the
and
chorus
that we have to
please
sort that
quiet
out.
down? Thank you.
And that means that the targets that have been set and the objectives that are set out have to be achieved, and the savings of £1 billion must be achieved. And I commend Minister Howland and Kieran Mulvey for the extensive and complicated negotiations that they had with the trades unions, and for the trades unions members who have accepted the Haddington Road Agreement. Now, the situation is that the ASTI have made their views known on what it is that they wish to do. And on the 23rd of September, the Standing Committee of ASTI met, and they decided to begin industrial actions in schools with effect from the 2nd of October this year. You asked me, can I prevent industrial action? This is a decision of the Executive Board of ASTI, and that will see ASTI members withdraw from all meetings outside school hours, which impacts on parents directly, refuse to participate in training for the new junior cycle, which impacts on parents and their children in the second-level schools, and not take on any management responsibilities without being paid. And that's the situation that the executive of the ASTI have decided on, and that's their decision. So I would ask the ASTI to examine the costs to their members of remaining outside the Haddington Road Agreement. And far from being some sort of perceived schoolboy bully, like you mentioned, Minister Quinn has merely pointed out the reality of the situation. This is the Haddington Road Agreement. It will not be renegotiated, and clearly the ASTI and its members have to consider the implications of persons who stay outside the agreement. That's all that Minister Quinn did. That is his responsibility. And I would ask that in the context of 300,000 public servants having discussed this, having debated it, having voted on it and having accepted it, that the ASTI should consider the implications for the children, for their students, for their parents and indeed for their own members.
Thank you. Deputy McDonald, please.
Well, Taoiseach, the 300,000 public sector workers of which you speak, I think would tell you that at the time when you negotiated Croke Park and then Haddington Road, that there was a very clear threat of coercion coming from government. It was obvious. You made no secret about it. You came out with the big stick and shook it at public sector. None more so than yourself, Minister Howlin. And I'm simply pointing out to you that which is blindingly obvious. Firstly, that you are continuing in that vein. I think it deeply irresponsible of Minister Quinn in a situation such as this, where teachers are stressed, but parents and their children are now very concerned at the prospect of industrial action and strike, for the Minister to stride in and rather than resolve the matter with the ASTI, who, by the way, have made it clear that they are available for discussions, he prefers to strike a macho pose. Now, you show scant regard yourself, Taoiseach, for the children, for the teachers, for the education system itself.
Thank you.
You're the boss. You're in charge. Nobody wants strike action come October the 2nd. The union is available to talk constructively and maturely. Can your government meet that challenge, and can you, as Taoiseach, make sure that talks of that nature happen immediately?
Taoiseach.
I'm not sure where you were for the last period, but you seem to forget that the Haddington Road Agreement was the subject of the most intensive negotiations and discussions between the trades unions, the public servants, the Minister, the Labour Relations Commission and everybody else. And that went on for 6 months, Deputy McDonald. 6 months. The only pay cuts that were introduced here applied for those over 65,000. Now, I think it's an important consideration that you should bear in mind here. I have the opportunity and the privilege of meeting so many people who want to invest in this country in terms of creation of jobs, and they look for the highest quality students emerging from our second-level schools to either go into employment or third-level institutions. And that means that the persons who stand in front of the classes are absolutely fundamental for the future of our country. And the young students who are today starting in second year and in the junior cert, they need the training of the teachers to be able to deal with the new implications of this. And when you consider the disruption that applies in a practical sense for parents who are now expected to attend meetings during school hours when this disrupts all of the family life, and the other implications that are here. As I said, it is a matter of a decision taken here by the membership of the ASTI and as a consequence of the Standing Committee and their instructions to their members. But let me be very clear, Deputy McDonald, the Haddington Road Agreement will not be renegotiated. And for people who, by their own choice or their own wish, want to stay outside it, clearly the protection of the Haddington Road Agreement will not apply to them in future. And you may say, please now intervene following the ballot of rejection by the ASTI members. That's not my function. There were 6 months negotiations here, Deputy McDonald, involving all of these people. All of these issues were known. And the ASTI membership have made their decision. I'm disappointed that it happened. I have to say I respect the teaching profession. I'm always enthused by international people speaking about the confidence of our young people. And a fundamental part of that is the part of the triangle is the teaching profession. And I would ask the ASTI to reflect very seriously at this time of economic challenge for our country, and that when they decide that they withdraw from all meetings outside school hours, refuse to participate in training for their students for the new junior cycle, and not take on any management responsibilities without being paid. I think, in a time of national response, where we're clearly making progress, difficult though it is. I'm disappointed that this was their decision, but it's not my decision. Let me assure you that the Haddington agreement will not be renegotiated. And far from your glib comment about washing hands of things here, this was a central focus of government for 6 months. For 6 months, and that's been responded to by 300,000 public servants.